Hey guys, welcome back to Converse with Coco. Thank you for joining me. So today I want to talk about the gift of desperation. And I do firmly believe that it was a gift given to me before I decided to change my behaviors, because I was in such a state of misery and hopelessness, and I had basically nowhere else to turn. So I firmly believe that at the end of my active addiction, which was the portion of my life where I used and made very poor decisions and got more and more self-deprivating, and my self-hatred had grown and my self-centeredness had grown, and I was harder and harder to be around, both for myself and others. The more that happened, and the more that the disease of addiction progressed in my mind, the greater my desperation got. And like I said, I do firmly believe that was a gift from my higher power, because I did not come to a changing point until then. So it was like the boiling point for me, where anything that I tried before that did not stick. It did not work, because I had the desire to stop using and change my behavior, but I did not have the willingness. And what drove me to the point of having willingness was the gift of desperation. So I felt completely void inside. I felt like a monster, way more than I didn't. I felt like I was never going to change, completely hopeless. I had no hope in myself, no faith. I did not believe that I could ever get better. I did not believe that I was worth trying either. And it is emotional to take myself back to that point in my life, because I remember the pain that I was causing myself every single day, and that I was causing to others around me. And the more that I would act out and say harsh words to others and to myself, and the more that I would turn situations around and try to convince others that they were the problem, and try to hide that I had a huge problem, which I knew for a long time, the more that happened, the harder it got to live in my own skin. And I felt a desperate desire and need to escape myself. And that was a very hard thing to sit with. That was a very rough reality for me. But had I not gotten to that point, I would never have been able to turn my will and my life over to my higher power. And that's the point in my life where I found an organization that helps me to do just that, and helps me to do so much more than just putting down the substances that I was abusing and that were altering the chemicals in my mind. Wow, sorry. It's hard to talk about, but I firmly believe that it needs to be talked about, that I need to share this for me and for others, because change is absolutely possible. Something that I've learned on my journey is that if you have a breath left in you, there is a chance for change. I firmly believe that my higher power was with me, even when I was using, even when I turned away from him, even when I ignored him, and even sometimes deliberately disobeyed, because I had just gotten to a point where I was not following the right path. And I knew that because I decided to feed my desires, and I had gotten to a point where I had listened to my lower power so much that the voice of my higher power became very quiet. But my higher power never walked away from me. I can see so many times looking back in my active addiction where my higher power saved me in big and little ways. And really the little ways are big ways too. That my higher power had saved me from myself, from the decisions I was making, from, I would go as far as to even say from death more than once. And it's amazing to me that a power so great can love me in all my flaws, with all my bad decisions, and the mess that I had made of my life. He loved me enough to stay with me and to keep trying to direct my path to a better outcome. And he did. He led me there. See, there was someone else in my life that I knew had a problem with substance abuse. And my disease, my lower power, was more than happy to blame all of my using and my bad behavior on that person and their disease, because their unmanageability was outward. They did things that people could not ignore. They did things that everybody knew about in our little town and surrounding areas, in our family, in our friend group, in our jobs. These are things that could not be ignored. My unmanageability was inward. I hid it from almost everyone in my life. Only the people that I let down my guard with and became vulnerable with knew the magnitude of my addiction. And that was very few people. But I believe that the storm was even greater in me than in the other person, because I worked so hard to keep it hidden that it really created that Jekyll and Hyde. I was two completely different people, and it was misery and confusion and just like a tornado. My brain, my spirit, my whole life was like a tornado. Just complete chaos. Nothing ever still. Nothing ever precise. It was torture. It really was. And I had put myself in that position from years of deciding to use substances and escape from, or try and escape from my problems, mostly generated by myself. So I got to this point of desperation, and it was, looking back, it's kind of like the bumpers were up in a bowling alley, to where I was veering, left, right, all over the place. I was making these reckless decisions, but by the grace of my higher power, I stayed safe somehow, and I did not badly harm anybody else physically somehow. And I was only incarcerated once at 19 somehow. So, that desperation is what allowed me to make the decision to change and let go of the pain that I was so familiar with, that I was afraid to let go of. So there's a story that I've heard of a little boy who was drowning, and his family called the lifeguard, and the lifeguard waded out to where the little boy was, but he didn't approach him until the little boy went under. And when he got him out of the water and resuscitated him, his family said, "Why did you wait until he went under to save him?" And the lifeguard said, "If I had gone out there when he was fighting to stay up, he would have fought me, and it would have been harder to save him." And that's the way that I view the gift of desperation that my higher power gave me. While my higher power did keep me safe in many ways and never turned away from me, he did allow me to get to a point where it was my decision to stop digging. So people talk about rock bottom, and the worst things that had happened in their addiction or their life or their mental illness, whatever, is essential to them. So for me, rock bottom was when I stopped digging and I had nowhere to look but up. So the gift of desperation allowed me to be open-minded, to take suggestions, to grab onto a slimmer of hope that change was possible, and to understand that I had to be the one to decide to make that change and to get up and do the work. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment about what you'd like to hear about next. And of course, like and subscribe to Yellow Rocket Boys. See you next time.